Hello again, Year 5. It's Mr. Hattersley. This is your recording for this week's lesson. I've tried something out a bit differently. I've got my webcam working, so I'm hoping if you like this format with my face at the bottom right-hand corner, that we can do this a bit more often. Yeah, so we'll get into it. So, I've just a quick reminder, our curriculum question for this term is, what is my place in the universe? So we're looking at space and the science involved with it, aren't we? So, move on very quickly. So, our skill today is we're going to record facts and find information all about the moon. So, I want you to have a think about what the moon is and how the moon, if you know that whether the moon affects the Earth in any way. Let me know what you think it might do. Let me think how it might, have a think about how it might affect the Earth. So, pause the video here. And have a go at answering the question. If you're doing this with somebody, brilliant. If not, don't worry too much. I will just quickly apologise. You can see some clutter behind me. I'm not normally that messy. I've just moved into my first house, so there's still some rubbish here that needs sorting. But hopefully the next couple of weeks, if we continue with this thing, then hopefully we'll get rid of all the clutter and it'll be a bit more clear. You'll be able to see me a bit easier. So, so the moon is... If you pause the video and you're coming back to it now, once you've answered this, the moon is a natural satellite on the Earth. So it orbits the Earth all the time. It goes round, doesn't it? We see it at night because it reflects the sunlight. It doesn't give out its own sun. It shines the sun's light back down to Earth. So the moon affects the Earth in a couple of ways. The first way is obviously we know it's night when we see it. It reflects light from the sun and gives us moonlight that way, doesn't it? And not only that, it also helps with the tides of the sea. So because it's got a gravitational pull, the moon helps to bring the tides in and out because it's moving the water using its gravity. Okay, so that's why the tides are in at night, because the moon's closer, the moon's more visible. So, like I said, we're going to be recording facts and finding different information about the moon. You should have access to these two videos. I'll just click this quickly now so it pops up for you whenever it wants to. There we go. So you should have looked at this in preparation for this on Friday if you went to the BBC Bitesize website. But if you haven't, quickly go onto it now. Go to BBC Bitesize and just type in the moon KS2. And this should pop up. I don't really have much time to show it you because these only go on for 10 minutes. And I think I get even less now that I've got my face in it as well. So we'll just try and keep this really quick. If you want to go to that one, pause the video. And then when you're back, I'm hoping this will work as well. What does the moon look like and why? If you want to watch this really quickly, I just searched Bitesize. What does the moon look like and why? And then KS2, and then that should work for you. KS2 is the key stage you're in Year 5 now. So, I'll go into it a bit here. So, like the Earth, the moon is roughly spherical, so it's like a football, isn't it? It's like a squash sphere, it's squash, so it's not like a full round, it's a little bit squash. It's smaller than Earth, and it's about a quarter of the size of Earth. So, we've been doing fractions in maths, haven't we? So, a quarter is a whole one divided by 4. It's a lot smaller than Earth. That's why it moves around, as it's locked onto Earth with the gravity that Earth has, the gravitational pull that Earth has. So, like I said here, what does the Earth being spherical mean? If you want to pause the video here, talk about that, answer it, and play the video again when you're ready. So the Earth being spherical, like I've just said, means it's that round shape like a football. It means it's shaped circular, and the moon's the same. And like I say, the gravity pulls it round in an orbit. So, the moon travels around the Earth every 28 days. So, the moon completes a full movement around the Earth, spins around the Earth once every 28 days. And the moon, like I said before, is a satellite. Down here, I think it'll be blocked by my face, it says gravity from Earth holds the moon in its orbit. What does that tell you about the moon? So if you want to answer that here, let me have a know. So I'll just read that quickly. Earth is not the only planet with a moon. A moon is a scientific term for a celestial body, which means an object in space that orbits a planet. Some other planets have many moons. For instance, Jupiter Jupiter and Saturn have over 60 moons each, I think, or something daft like that. They have a massive amount of moons. So if you want to pause that here and answer me this, that gravity from the Earth holds the moon in its orbit. Okay, if you're coming back, so like the Earth orbiting the Sun, moving round it like that, the Sun's gravity, using the Sun's gravity, Earth also has gravity, which allows the Moon to move round it. It holds the Moon in place, meaning that stays there, which is why it moves round in an orbit. And remember we said they were elliptical orbits, which means it moves round in an oval and less like a circle. It's moving around it at all times, which is, again, like I said, it impacts the Earth a lot. The Moon's very useful to the Earth. I'm sure you'll be able to find out why when we get onto our task. But I'll keep moving for now. So, the Moon is made out of rock, not cheese. I don't know if you ever heard that, but when I was a kid, and there were different things on TV, such as Looney Tunes and other things like that, there was a joke that the Moon was actually made out of cheese. Now, obviously, we know it's not. It's made out of rock. And it's not a source of light, which means it doesn't create its own light. Light from the sun here hits it and comes back down from Earth. So it's like the Moon's almost like a mirror. It hits it there and it reflects down at night, which is why there's not as much light at night, because it's a reflection. It's not got as much light coming from it, because obviously it's smaller than the Earth and the Earth's smaller than the Sun. So, gravity on the surface of the Moon is 1/6 of the Earth's size, which is why in footage of moonwalks, astronauts appear to bounce. So if you've ever seen a picture of the Apollo 11 astronauts on the Moon, they sort of jump up in the air and go like that, rather than just walking along like we would on Earth. So the first footprints on the Moon, and that's an example of one, will be on there for 1,000,000 years because there's no wind to blow them away. So if you were to go to the Moon tomorrow, you'd still be able to see the footprints left by Neil Armstrong there when you get there. So the Moon has a very thin and weak atmosphere called an exosphere. It doesn't provide protection from the sun's radiation or impacts from meteoroids like the Earth does. So that's why it's that's why the Earth is so suited to our environment for life, because the atmosphere that it's got protects us from the sun. You imagine all that heat coming from the sun. Obviously, it's got to go somewhere, and the sun protects against that. So the surface of the Moon is also covered in craters from where it's been hit by meteors. So really, the Moon's probably helps us as well, because meteors haven't hit Earth because the Moon's been in the way. So your work today should have got a question like that. So you're going to use, and I've wrote an iPad because, again, in an ideal world we're doing this in school, but obviously we can't. This is your idea for, this is your learning. So what you're going to do is you're going to go onto Google, find out as many facts about the Moon as you can. So yesterday you should have done this about literacy, about different planets for literacy, sorry. So again, you're just going to search something like, I don't know, facts about the Moon for kids. Go on to that. If you put for kids at the end, it'll do language that you'll really understand, lots of really interesting facts. Fill that up with as many as you can, and I look forward to reading them on Friday. Let me know if you like the format where you can see me as well, and I'll pass it on, and maybe more teachers will be able to do this for Year 5 and in different year groups as well. But for now, take care of yourself. Fill that in with as many facts as you can. Maybe you know some already, but use the internet to find some more if you can. And I will see you very soon. So look after yourself and take care. Goodbye.